What if I told you that some of the most celebrated, most valuable cars ever displayed in the world's finest showrooms were once rotting underneath old magazines behind brick walls, buried in someone's forgotten garage? Not metaphorically, literally. Machines that sat in silence for 30, 40, even 60 years, completely abandoned. And then one day, someone opened the wrong door, moved the wrong pile of junk, and automotive history stepped back into the light. Today, we're counting down 10 rare barn finds that didn't just survive, they became showroom legends. And I promise you, by the time we reach number 1, you'll understand why the barn find world is the closest thing automotive culture has to archaeology. Number 10, the 1967 Shelby GT500 in Acapulco Blue, Oklahoma. We start in rural Oklahoma, where classic Ford restorer Nate Myers made a discovery that stopped the Shelby world in its tracks. A 1967 Shelby GT500, finished in a metallic shade called Acapulco Blue, had been sitting untouched in a barn for decades. Now, on its own, a GT500 is already a unicorn. Ford only produced 2,048 of them in the car's inaugural model year. But what made this particular find extraordinary was the color. Ford offered Acapulco Blue for the Shelby lineup for approximately half of 1967, just half a year. With 11 available paint options and most offered twice as long, the number of surviving Acapulco Blue GT 500s is nearly impossible to pin down, but it's undeniably tiny. And then there's the factory air conditioning. Myers confirmed that only around 126 examples of the 67 GT500 left the factory with AC fitted. This car had it, original, intact, and still in the car. The GT500 itself was Carroll Shelby's answer to Ford's request for a more usable, more comfortable performance Mustang. Where the GT350 was raw and uncompromising, the GT500 brought a 428 cubic inch Police Interceptor V8, power steering, servo-assisted brakes, and a level of refinement that made it genuinely drivable on the street. And brutally fast. Make no mistake. In top condition, a numbers-matching 67 GT500 can approach $900,000 at auction. Finding one in Acapulco Blue with factory AC sitting untouched in an Oklahoma barn, that's not just a find, that's a once-in-a-career event. Number 9. The 1967 Shelby GT500 EXP Little Red, the prototype that vanished. Most barn finds are about rediscovering production cars. This one is about recovering a piece of automotive history that the world had given up for destroyed. The 1967 Shelby GT 500 EXP, nicknamed Little Red, was not a production vehicle. It was an experimental prototype, one of only 2 notchback coupes to ever wear the Shelby badge. Little Red was a rolling development mule, built to test ideas including a restyled body, a Paxton supercharger, a big block engine, and dual quad carburetors. EXP, for the record, stands for experimental. The car was used as a styling reference for Ford's 1968 Mustang California Special, and then it went into storage, and then it disappeared entirely. For decades, automotive historians and Shelby collectors searched for Little Red. Many believed it had been scrapped once it was no longer useful. It became the stuff of legend, a ghost car that existed only in old photos and production documents. Then Barrett Jackson announced they had found it. Founder Craig Jackson called it the discovery of a lifetime, noting that it was one of the most elusive vehicles in post-war American automotive history. Authenticated through serial numbers, date codes, cross-references, and confidential factory documents, the Little Red was confirmed genuine. Barrett Jackson committed to what they described as one of the most meticulous restoration projects in American car collector history. A production car that sits in a barn for 40 years is remarkable. A one-of-a-kind experimental prototype that the world thought was gone forever? That's something else entirely. Number 8. The 1969 Chevrolet Corvette L88, racing engine in a collector's sleep. Only 116 of them were built in 1969, and only 216 across the entire 3-year production run from 1967 to 1969. Let both of those numbers sink in. The Corvette L88 was not a street car in any conventional sense. It was conceived by Zora Arkus Duntov, the legendary chief engineer behind the Corvette's racing identity, as a factory-built racing machine sold under the thin pretense of road legality. Its 427 cubic inch big block V8 was officially rated at 430 horsepower, a figure Chevrolet deliberately understated to discourage ordinary buyers from getting in over their heads. In reality, in stock form, it produced over 500 horsepower. With side mount headers, some estimates push that closer to 560. To further discourage casual buyers, Chevrolet stripped the L88 of comfort features. No air conditioning, no power steering, no radio. Each car left the factory with a warning plaque on the dashboard instructing owners to use only 103-octane fuel. A fire arrestor screen sat on top of the carburetor. Owners were instructed to raise the hood before starting the car to reduce the risk of a backfire into the fiberglass-mounted air cleaner. This was not a grocery getter. When pristine, numbers-matching L88s have surfaced at auction in the unrestored condition, the kind that carries full original documentation right down to the original bill of sale, they've commanded staggering prices. A tuxedo black example sold for $615,000 on Bring a Trailer. A Can-Am white convertible crossed the block at the 2025 Make 'Em Kiss Me auction for $759,000. And at the extreme end, a lightweight L88 race car variant fetched $2.86 million at Barrett-Jackson. Finding any L88 in salvageable condition is headline news in the Corvette world. Finding one that's original and matching numbers is the stuff of museum dreams. Number 7. The 1968 Bullitt Mustang, the movie car that went dark. This one isn't just a car, it's a cultural institution. In the 1968 film Bullitt, Steve McQueen drove a Highland Green 1968 Ford Mustang GT 390 through the hills of San Francisco in what became the most iconic car chase sequence in cinema history. That 10-minute chase, with its raw V8 sound and barely controlled aggression through city streets, permanently embedded that Mustang into the global imagination. After production wrapped, the car's trail went cold. For decades, the automotive world wondered where it had gone. Rumors surfaced occasionally, theories circulated, and then the truth emerged. The original Bullitt Mustang had been quietly held by a private family all along. They'd kept it away from auctions, away from exhibitions, away from the spotlight. Not out of secrecy, but simply because they loved it. When the car finally came to auction at Make 'Em Kiss Me in January 2020, it sold for $3.74 million, the most expensive Mustang ever sold at auction at that time. It went to a private buyer who had deep personal ties to the car's story. What makes this find so compelling beyond the price tag is the layers of meaning. This wasn't just a lost car. It was a lost piece of cinema history, a physical artifact of one of the defining moments of American cool in the 1960s. When it came back into public view, it didn't just enter the auction world, it re-entered the cultural conversation, and it did so with the kind of quiet authority that only genuinely legendary things possess. Number 6. The 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing, Santa Monica's alloy secret. In 2011, restoration specialist Rudy Konicek discovered something in a Santa Monica garage that left the classic car world breathless. A 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing, alloy-bodied, buried under decades of accumulated junk, untouched since the early 1970s. Now, every Gullwing is extraordinary. The 300 SL is one of the most beautiful, most technically significant road cars of the 20th century. Its upward swinging doors, born from the chassis structure that made conventional doors impossible, became one of the most iconic design flourishes in automotive history. The fuel-injected inline-six engine was a genuine engineering milestone. The entire car was a statement that road cars could be works of art and engineering ambition at the same time. But this wasn't just any Gullwing. It was one of only 29 alloy-bodied examples ever built. And according to Koenigsegg, it was the last of those 29 still unaccounted for, the final missing member of that ultra-rare group. The car's story was heartbreaking in the most beautiful way. Its owner had received the Gullwing as a graduation gift in 1955. When the transmission failed sometime in the early 1970s, rather than repair it, he parked it in his garage, surrounded by what eventually became 4 decades of accumulated life. Old electronics, boxes, the ordinary debris of years passing. And there, the car waited, one of only 29 in existence, gathering dust behind someone's old electronics. Koenigsegg undertook a careful restoration to Concours condition. The finished car was estimated by experts to be worth approximately $5 million. Number 5. The 1938 Mercedes-Benz Sport Tourer behind a brick wall in Dresden. This one transcends barn find. This is a wartime mystery. The 1938 Mercedes-Benz Sport Tourer that concerns us here is one of only 2 ever built, and the only known survivor. It debuted at the Berlin Auto Show in 1938 and was sold to a German mining company. And then, as World War II descended on Europe and the chaos of conflict reshaped everything around it, the car vanished from all records. For 6 decades, it was simply gone. And then it was found, hidden behind a brick wall in the basement of a private home in Dresden, Germany, concealed beneath a rose garden. Someone had walled it in, entombed it underground to protect it from the destruction raging above, and there it remained, in secret, while history rewrote itself at the surface. Think about what that means. While empires collapsed and cities burned and the world changed permanently above ground, this singular one of 2 automobile sat in the dark below a garden of roses, perfectly preserved through sheer human instinct to protect beautiful things when the world turns ugly. Once brought out of its underground chamber and restored to its original condition, the car crossed the threshold from rare into irreplaceable. Its survival isn't a story about automotive engineering. It's a story about what people do in the face of destruction and the extraordinary things they sometimes manage to save. Number 4. The 1981 BMW M1, the Italian garage that forgot its treasure. This one is less mystery and more miracle of neglect. In 2016, reports surfaced of a 1981 BMW M1 that had been sitting untouched in an Italian garage for 34 years, buried under junk, never registered, never put on the road. Its odometer read just 7,329 kilometers. Every component was original, every number matched. The M1 was BMW's first true M-Series production car, born from a complicated development process involving Lamborghini and later Bauer, and powered by a fuel-injected 3.5-liter inline-six engine producing 273 horsepower. It was sharp, beautifully designed by Giugiaro, and rare. Only 453 production examples were ever built. It gave birth to the entire M Division philosophy: take a platform and engineer it to its absolute limit. This particular example was acquired, reportedly as a gift or investment, and then simply never used. Parked in an Italian garage, buried under the slow accumulation of someone's life. And when it was discovered in 2016, it was essentially brand new. German specialist Mint Classics was commissioned to perform a sensitive, historically respectful restoration completed in 2018. The finished car was estimated to be worth approximately £380,000 and considered by M enthusiasts to be among the finest surviving M1 examples on the planet. From a forgotten Italian garage to the pinnacle of the M1 market. Not a bad journey for a car that never went anywhere. Number 3. The 1968 Lamborghini Miura P400, a supercar before the word existed, before the Countach, before the Diablo, before the wild, extravagant, wing-laden machines that define Lamborghini's current identity. There was the Miura. Unveiled in 1966 at the Geneva Motor Show, the Lamborghini Miura is widely regarded as the world's first true supercar. Its transverse mid-mounted V12, its breathtaking body shaped by Giorgetto Giugiaro and Marcello Gandini at Bertone, its sheer visual drama. The Miura didn't just establish Lamborghini as a serious performance car maker, it rewrote the entire template for what a supercar could be. Every mid-engine exotic that followed owes something to it. A 1968 Miura P400, the original variant before the more powerful S and SV versions, was discovered in a barn in France. Its condition was what the classic car world calls a project. Present, identifiable, real, but requiring serious and expert attention to bring back. After a meticulous restoration by specialists with deep knowledge of the model's particular engineering quirks and original specifications, the car was brought to auction in 2019. It sold for 560,000 euros, a number that would have been considerably higher for one of the more powerful later variants. But that still reflects the reverence with which the Miura is regarded. To find one in a barn is, as one commentator put it, the automotive equivalent of locating a first edition Picasso behind a water heater. Number 2. The Baillon Collection, France's Automotive Tutankhamun's Tomb. This isn't a single car. This is a civilization. In 2014, the world was stunned when approximately 100 rare classic cars were discovered in a dilapidated estate barn at Château Gaillard in Échiré, western France. The collection had belonged to Roger Baillon, a transport entrepreneur who had spent years assembling these machines with the dream of one day opening a private museum. When financial difficulties ended that dream, the cars stayed where they were. His son inherited the estate in 1996. His grandchildren, who had been sworn to secrecy about the collection as children, rediscovered it in 2014. And what they found was staggering. Of the roughly 100 cars, 59 were salvageable. But what 59 they were, buried under a pile of old magazines, as if it had simply been set down and forgotten, was a 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California Spider, chassis 2935. It went to auction through Art Curial in its found condition. Dust, cobwebs, decades of patina, layered over what was once one of the most desirable open-top Grand Tours ever produced. It sold for $18.5 million, becoming the most expensive barn find ever sold at public auction. Alongside it went a 1956 Maserati A6G 2000 Grand Sport Berlinetta Frua, a Bugatti Type 57, a Facel Vega, and dozens of others. A single auction that shattered 10 world records in one day. Art Curial called it the automotive equivalent of discovering Tutankhamun's tomb. That comparison wasn't hyperbole. The sheer density of irreplaceable machinery concentrated in one forgotten estate barn, untouched for half a century, was something the collecting world had never seen before and may never see again. Number 1. The 1938 Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic, the Holy Grail rediscovered. And here we are, the one that sits above all others, the car against which all barn finds are measured. The Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic is not merely rare, it is among the most singular objects ever created by human hands. Only 4 were built between 1936 and 1938. One was destroyed, lost to World War II, and never recovered. One resides permanently at the Mullen Automotive Museum in California. One is held by a private European collector, and one, Chassis 57374 spent decades in obscurity before surfacing in one of the most extraordinary private sales in the history of art and collectibles. In 2010, Chassis 57374 changed hands privately for a sum widely reported to be somewhere between $30 and $40 million. Exact figures were never officially confirmed, but those numbers, even as estimates, placed it among the most valuable objects ever sold privately in any category, anywhere in the world. What makes the Atlantic so otherworldly? Jean Bugatti, son of the founder Ettore, designed the body by hand. The riveted dorsal fin that runs the length of the car from nose to tail was not a styling gimmick. It was a practical solution. The aluminum alloy used in the body was too thin to weld without warping, so Jean riveted the panels together along a central seam. Necessity became art. That spine, those dramatic swooping fenders, the hand-formed curves, there is nothing else like an Atlantic in the history of the automobile. Tracing Chassis 57374 required painstaking detective work, cross-referencing old racing records, provenance documents, previous ownership chains, and fragments of history scattered across decades. The car had passed through multiple hands, drifted out of recorded history, and then resurfaced into a world that had never stopped searching for it. When it was authenticated and the sale was completed, it didn't just enter the collector world, it entered the canon of human achievement. A $30 to $40 million automobile that had spent years tucked away from public knowledge, unacknowledged, unappreciated, waiting, the Holy Grail of barn finds, and now officially one of the most important objects in the world. So there you have it, 10 cars that sat in silence, in barns, in basements, behind brick walls, and came back as legends. What strikes me most isn't the money, it's the margin. Every single one of these cars came within one bad decision of being lost forever. They survived not because they were protected, but because nobody got around to getting rid of them. And here's the thing, there are still barns out there with stories like these behind the door. The next chapter of this list is still being written somewhere right now, under a tarp, in the dark. Hit subscribe if you want to be there when we find it, and drop a comment below. Which of these 10 hits you hardest? Until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know what's behind the next door.